You know, turning a big idea into a small business comes with challenges. Before you start, it's important to not only create a business plan, but scale it to grow over time. Black Women's Wall Street co-founders Jacoy James Pugh and Latoya Gooden are passionate about helping women do just that. And they join me to drop in on some knowledge. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's a big step to kind of start your own business. There are a lot of risks involved in that. So I'm curious, to kick us off, what are some of the biggest mistakes that people can make when scaling a business?
A lot of times when it comes to scaling a business, it's typically going to be where individuals will attempt to scale way too soon. Usually because they don't have the revenue to support it.
Right.
They probably don't even have truly the demand for it. And it's going to be important that they look at their data, look at their history to know, do your customers, your client base really want what it is that has entered into the market?
Because you can have all the passion in the world.
Truly.
If it's not going to resonate with your target demographic, you're really in some trouble, for sure. And particularly when it comes to cash flow management. We hear a lot about the term margins. That's thrown around quite a bit. Let's get down to the definition of that and why that is so important to consider your margins before you open your doors.
Really, margins are really knowing your numbers, knowing where your growth is, where the decline is. That's really all that margins are in simplicity. Business owners really need to understand and pay attention to the history. They need to pay attention to where on their income statement, on their profit and loss statement, their balance sheet, the numbers do not lie. So those margins are really going to give you clear insight, clear indicators as to whether or not you're moving forward in the direction your business really needs to go.
This is really great advice. It's also important to do kind of a very thorough market validation, or another term for that is kind of a competitive analysis, to consider what is already out there, who is already using your demographic before you jump into what could potentially be an already competitive pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to know who your competitors are is going to be important, because you need to know, how does your business stand out? There's a lot of different individuals that will jump from one company to the next for little reasons, for customer service, or maybe you're able to get a product or a service out faster than the competitor. So doing your research and truly knowing what is out there, who is in the same market as you, that helps you to uniquely position yourself in your industry.
And then once you know that information, once you know who your competition is, who's already in the field, then you can find creative ways to differentiate yourself from other brands that really set you apart in that competitive field. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your organization. It's called Black Women's Wall Street. How did it all start?
So it started at Jacoy's kitchen table.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Isn't that where so many of the best ideas start?
Yes.
Is at a kitchen table and a cup of coffee.
Absolutely. And so we were sitting there. We both had our own individual businesses, and so we decided, like, okay, what if there was some type of company that would help us do this that we're already doing and just miss those curves altogether? And so we came up with Black Women's Wall Street.
You know, I think it is really important when you're starting on a new venture that you're aligning yourself with people and with organizations to help you move that ball forward. It is a big, scary world out there, and to know that there's a resource such as yours to help navigate some of those challenges and ask some of these basic questions in an environment that's not judgmental, that is a big win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
It's important because a lot of times entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. Not everybody understands that. And so with Latoya and I building Black Women's Wall Street, we wanted to create a community, if you will, where women who identify as us, they know and understand that we've walked through some of the same challenges that they've walked through, that it's important that we are not talking the talk, but walking the walk. And so that community is going to be so important because like I said, it can be such a lonely journey.
It really can. And I do think that possibly a characteristic that defines entrepreneurs is that they're so driven and they kind of are, you know, do-it-yourselfers. The idea of asking for help can be an intimidating process, but it's vital to have this kind of assistance before you kind of dive in. And that goes into the whole notion of networking. So important to have those contacts in place.
It absolutely is, and we are very big on community and connection. So anytime that you can leverage a relationship, that's what you're going to want to do because they are worth their weight in gold.
All right, so that leads us very nicely into this next question about a big event that you're having. Tell us about that.
Yes, so literally tomorrow, Friday, June 19th, there is the 10th annual Arlington Juneteenth celebration. That is going to be with the Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce and partnered with the Texas Rangers. And so being that it's the 10th annual, we're really excited. We're going to have keynote speakers, Gerald Alley from Conrail and Cynthia Sint Marshall, former CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. So it's going to be a
exciting.
fantastic evening.
It sounds wonderful. Very quickly, where can we get more information?
Yes, you can reach us at www.blackwomenswallstreet.org, and women's is plural and possessive.
Okay.
So blackwomenswallstreet.org, or you can follow us on social media at BWWS Inc.
Fantastic. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. We
Thank
appreciate it.
you.